Should comedians bend PC college campuses? Our panel is back. We've got Sabrina Schaefer, Sherrod Small, and Dave Smith. Sherrod and Dave, I'm going to start with you, then I'll get to Sabrina. So she's saying that you kind of have to change, evolve, and become more PC, whereas Colin Quinn, Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, and a bunch of other comics say they don't even play colleges anymore because they're too PC, and they don't even have to deal with worrying about offending someone. Is she on the wrong side of history, or are they?
First of all, comedy and college comedy is two different things.
Okay.
First. Second of all, I will not discuss comedy business in front of civilians. Me and Dave will talk about this with other comedians at our meeting next week on Wednesday. Our meetings,
Very good.
Not in front of civilians. You don't need to know. It's like a magician showing his magic tricks, his secrets.
Do you still play colleges?
I play colleges if the money's right.
Yeah.
The money got to be right. And but I just say what I want. They'll know going in that I'm going to say what I want to say.
Okay, but you are in the minority.
Well,
and you're also one of the few comics who's willing to say outrageous jokes.
I'm in the minority. Thanks for recognizing that. What gave it away, Kennedy?
It was the leathery jacket. All right, so what's the difference between watering down your material and evolving?
I don't know. I mean, well, there's a big difference. And look, Sarah Silverman's a great comic, but I think it's embarrassing when she tries to jump on these liberal issues. She said in that interview, she said, college kids are almost always on the right side of history.
That's what she said.
You can only believe that if you've never read about history.
She said you have to listen to the college-aged because they lead the revolution. They're pretty much always on the right side of history.
Okay, well, have you ever studied any history where things went wrong? Because almost always, the group that she's talking about, 18 to 21-year-olds, are the militant arm for dictatorships. Always. When you have a big government, they always try to get that group of people to be way on board. Were the Hitler Youth on the right side of history? I don't understand where she's coming from. Jerry Seinfeld tells jokes about airplanes and peanuts, and he's coming out saying, I can't even tell these jokes in college anymore. There's clearly a problem.
You know, I want to one of the quotes that you gave before the show I thought was really interesting. There's a fine line between adapting to the times and losing your soul. Has Sarah Silverman lost her soul?
I think so. You know, when I heard that interview, I literally thought she was giving sort of tips to the GOP, like it is time to modernize, to start talking to women, things like that.
Yeah.
But then I realized she was actually talking about something funny. But I taught college students. I cannot imagine having to stand up and tell jokes in front of them. They are sort of universally self-righteous. The idea that we would now have to like back down and clean everything up so we don't, offend their precious ears.
Yeah.
I mean, God, you wouldn't.
But luckily, as a minority, they go like this: he has a right to say it.
Right.
But that's a very good point.
Yeah, that's good for you. But Seinfeld says they throw around terms like racist, sexist, and prejudice. Yeah. They have no idea what those terms mean. My fear is that college-age, the young people like David here are so overly sensitive. They're never going to be funny.
Let me tell you something about college. College kids are the dumbest.
They're so coddled. They've never actually been through anything.
Because they learning stuff, but they ain't have any world experience yet.
Around.
So they just using one. It's like a seesaw with one side deeper than the other. So they can't work all the stuff they learn.
Will they ever be funny?
In years, you got to go through some pain.
They're never going to go through pain because they're completely coddled from the time they emerge from the womb until they die.
They will go
if it's
through
because of helicopter parents or the socialist guys.
They got to come off the campus.
And it's very dangerous that those same kids who have their safe spaces and their trigger warnings, now they're all falling in love with Bernie Sanders, who's coming into them saying, you should have healthcare for free, you should have education for free, and Mitt Romney will pay for all of it. And this is the message that they're getting on board with.
Gold mother girls.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm going to talk about that later in the show.